Hi, everybody. So today on my podcast, I brought back my sister Courtney because she was such a hit last time, and we had so much more to talk about. The DeSando girls, we can't stop. Like an hour is not enough for us. So I thought I would bring her back and we could just talk about a few things that we missed out. So hi, Cora, how's it going today?
Hi, it's going so good. Oh my gosh, after we got done, I thought, well, we missed that story, we missed that story. We thought we would jam it all in there, but nope, we needed a part two.
We need, like, honestly, you guys, we should just have our own, and then every week we just come on and tell our like life stories. I swear.
I think so. I think it should just be a weekly thing, and I can just come on and we can just discuss. And there's all kinds of things going on, and I mean, dish in the dirt just about the people that we know that are out there already, and then some of the people from the way back past, and there's so much to talk about.
Well, so I thought there's one thing that I didn't talk about last time that I had on my list, but we just didn't get to it. But I think it's an interesting story because it covers the fact that reality, like the talk shows, are not real. Like back in the 90s, it was the thing, was the afternoon talk shows. They had all of them. You got on your, it started with Oprah, but it became like Jerry
Oprah
Springer.
was our life. Oprah was our life. She was the queen. She was telling us all how to live. And I mean, Oprah had it going on.
I understand, and I think she's pretty unassailable. However, so was Dr. Drew back in the day. We all thought Dr. Drew was the best, and he had he did the VH1 show, the Sober House or whatever that was on VH1. He had his own talk show, and this talk show that he had was called Dr. Drew? Just Dr. Drew? I forget.
I think there was a little bit more to the name than just that. Life choices, life something. It was a little different.
Right. So Dr. Drew had a show on the afternoons that you could turn on, and he would have guests on, and and it was pretty popular. I thought he was a pretty cool guy. I was like, I love Dr. Drew. And then I got a call from my friend who's a publicist, and she was representing this website called Ashley Madison that you go on and you can find a date with a married man. So you're like women who just only for some reason want to date married men, go on this website and you put up your dating profile. This is back when dating like sites like Match.com were so popular. And she asked me if I would go on Dr. Drew and pretend that I only date married men. But I needed to bring on like my sister so that we can have like a fight about it, because I need a sister that did not think it was okay for me to do this, and they wanted me on the show. And I was like, honestly, at first I called you. At first I think we were like, no way, I think.
But then we found out we got paid. So I was like, okay, cha-ching. I'm a single mother in LA. Yes.
I was like struggling too. And I think they paid us like, I got paid a little more than this. So it was like 3,000 and 2,000.
I got 2,000. I thought I got the same mission.
They paid me a little more because I was you were just like the sidekick.
Show, okay,
I got 3,000, she got 2,000, and all we had to do is just go on the show and pretend that I only date married men. And it ended up being a little bit more involved in that. They came to my house and filmed. Did they come to your house and film?
No, they didn't. No.
They came and they filmed a package of me like in my house looking at pictures of my ex. So I said that I had an ex. This is true. I had an ex of like 22 years who died suddenly. And I said that I only date married men because I didn't want to get hurt, and I was still in love with him and he was dead. So I just wanted to go on fun dates with people that had no attachment. That was my storyline, none of this is true, you guys. I was never date a married man. I was not on any websites, nothing. So they came to my house, and they had me like pretend to like log on to Ashley Madison to my profile and send out messages.
The B-roll was really cringy. It was cringy.
And then I was like on my bed, like in like, laying out outfits for my dates with the married men, which all fake. And by the way, people ask me, do you think they knew? But they did know, because Dr. Drew's production team was at my house filming, the outfits for my dates, knowing that there was no dates and knowing that the website was that my profile was fake. So they knew. I don't know if Dr. Drew knew himself, but they knew.
I think they probably shield him from a lot. I mean, a producer's job is so hard just to get anyone, which just shows you how did we get on it. Yep, they need anyone to just play a part.
So we went to this little I think the Radford lot, CBS, whatever, I forget, to go. We had the little go in the little trailer, and they did our hair and makeup.
That was really fun, though. That was fun.
we got all glammed up, and then Dr. Drew brought me out on stage, and he was like, you know, super compassionate, concerned, and he was like, Thea, now why would you date a married man? Like, this is concerning. And I said, you know, because my ex died. And it was funny. So they brought Courtney out, and she was so fiery.
They made me, they were like, you have to be animated and over the top. Like, this is TV, so no muted answers. Like, we need you to be the voice of reason. You need to be the one that stands up for your sister. So I had to completely overdo it.
Right. They were hyping her up backstage, like, go there and you got to get her and you guys need to like fight about this. So that part was super fake, super produced was the part.
So produced. That was so produced.
And they even had in the audience, they had a producer plant. Remember the producer that stood up and said, my husband cheated on me and I will never, and it was all fake. So that was fake. And
Dr. Drew, no one was on your side. No one in the audience. Right. No one.
But Dr. Drew knew that was fake because he knew that was a producer plan. That's his producer in the audience. So he's in on a little bit of the fakeness for sure.
He's in on a little bit of the fakeness for sure. For sure. But I don't know that he would have let you do it if you had said, no, I absolutely never have ever dated a married guy. I'm not sure about that. But I mean, it was definitely all made up for camera.
Right. But the thing that I always had an issue with was, so Courtney comes on and we have this I have lots of clips of it I've shared before where we're just like arguing about it. And so I'm getting attacked by everybody saying, how dare you break up homes? You're a home wrecker. And I was like, listen, it's not, don't blame me, blame the men. Like, why are they on this website finding girls if they're married to you? Like, that's not my problem. I'm not going out with anybody.
Well, cut to the chase and you find out that the whole place everyone has gotten their identity stolen. Ashley Madison completely gets hacked. And it was a huge, 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 huge story. Like, there's an, Netflix about it. So like, this was all super sketchy. Ashley Madison business. It was funny me telling Ken this story. He's, he rolls his eyes when my husband, when I tell him my celebrity stories, but I'm like, yep. We were watching Ashley. I was like, yep, Ashley Madison. I remember that whole thing with the.
Well, I got calls from people from like high school who were just tuning into like daytime television. Like, yeah, are you okay? Why are you dating married men?
I mean, did you think you were going to get away with it, that no one was going to see it? I mean, of course people were going to see it, but I think what your followers are going to see right now is that it's all kind of made up. I mean, even if there's
right. And I did think my case was a good case, which is don't blame me. I'm the other woman, but I'm like, that's not my problem. That's like blaming the mistress is a little bit sketchy because it's like, I
would blame the mistress for her poor morals. And
then I tried to say that it was actually good that I existed because your husband's getting like kind of like what he needs from me, but I'm not going to take him away from you. Like I'm never going to break up your home.
Oh my God, the eye rolling that I had going on when you tried to justify it, I was like, girl, stop it. Like,
okay, but here was my problem. Here was my issue. So unfortunately, the show took a little bit of a dark turn because my excuse was that I was like so in love with my ex-boyfriend of 22 years and that he had died and I was grieving. And then Dr. Drew, it kind of turned into that second half of the show was all about like my grief, and Dr. Drew brought out like a grief counselor person and he was like holding my hand and I was crying and they were showing pictures of Tom and I was all about me like just being, and Dr. Drew was like super concerned about me, like, wow, you're really like messed up about this. And
he played like the man that you want to have telling your sad story to. He was like that. Like, I've never had a man pay attention to my story. Like, he paid attention.
And he had his hand like literally was like holding my hand and so nice.
Oh my gosh, he was fully on leaned in. Thea, do you realize that you're with these married men because of the loss of Tom? And I'm like, oh no, this is
so it became this whole like weepy thing, which was so embarrassing. But I will say this, so
he got like, you off the hook, that's for sure.
It did. It definitely got me off the hook. All of a sudden, the audience loved me. Everyone was like on my side.
Poor Thea.
Right. However, I felt like Dr. Drew was and now I always got this bad feeling from that because I felt like it was a big phony because he said, we'll send somebody to your dressing room. We're going to follow up with this. We're going to take care of you. And I never heard from anybody ever again. No one came to my dressing room. And that part I didn't like about Dr. Drew.
Well, probably because the producers came to him after and said, don't worry about it. It was all made up anyway. So he probably was like, lie your pants on fire.
No, clearly I wasn't making up the dead boyfriend part like that. No, they had pictures of him.
Yeah.
Right. But so I just felt like he seemed super concerned about me and then I never heard from anyone and no one came. And I thought that
I felt like it's different than off camera.
Right. Exactly. I was like, if he seemed so concerned that I would for sure, like, he was going to really like take
He
care of me.
really I felt like he was in it with you. Oh my gosh, he's going to help us because she's been so sad about this. And no.
Right. So that was the only part where people say, like, was he in on it? I don't know if he was really in on it, but I did get a slight bit of a phony baloney, like you cared about me when the cameras were on.
Totally phony
But
baloney. But I believed it while he was giving it. I was like, I'm in with you, Dr. Drew.
right. Okay. So that was, I think that is a good part of our like history. This is the 90s. This is Hollywood. This is, I mean, we're out there in LA. Everything's fake out there. We're in it. We knew about it. Courtney was married to a famous, well, at the time, he was a pretty famous DJ.
He was
right?
famous. Yes, he was. He was famous. He was the #1 DJ in the entire country at that time.
Right. This is back when it was really cool to be like a jerk DJ, like to be like I don't know. I think Howard Stern made it right popular to like just make fun of your guests and be rude, and that was like kind of the trend back then. So what's funny is that it did kind of backfire on you that you found that attractive at the beginning, and then you're like, wait, now I'm married to that person.
Well, again, off mic and on mic, right? I was like, oh, he's so nice and normal when he's not on the show. But yeah, it turns out he's a psychopath. So he was horrible. Yeah. So, live and learn on that thing. But I mean, he was a big deal. Our dates would be, hey, I've got to stop by the Hollywood Bowl and introduce Michael Bolton. I mean, that was it. Right. And then Thursday night, every Thursday, we went to Lou Diamond Phillips' house for the poker game. That was Poker Thursday. We went over there, hung out with him. I got to go to Lou Diamond Phillips' wedding. Lou Diamond Phillips from the gun, he's
La Bamba.
La Bamba. And what's the Guns, with all the other boys, Young Guns.
Oh yeah. Right. He was in the movie. Right. Oh yeah.
He was like in the pack of the hotties. So for me to like have Lou Diamond Phillips, and in fact, I think we talked about this, but during my divorce from the psychopathic ex-husband, he tried to bring up that I was some kind of a floozy, which I really, really wasn't. So that was the good news, was I had no problem like defending myself on that. But he did accuse me of having an affair with Lou Diamond Phillips. And I was like, no, but could we put it on the record?
So LA, Courtney, remember when we went to I just moved out there and I was literally like 84 pounds and I was like fresh out of like a mental hospital. It was terrible. And we went out to the House of Blues, to the Foundation Room.
Yes.
And I met that really hot guy. Remember Jimmy, the hot guy?
Yes. Yes.
And he told me that he used to date Steve Guttenberg's ex-wife.
There you go.
That was like his claim to fame, and I was like, wow, that's very kind of ancillary to fame. And then that was my first experience, and then it turned out like all of LA is like that. Somebody is like married to the ex of, I mean, even your ex now is married to, and I mean, is he married to
No, his ex-girlfriend now was the big mouth guy. What's his name? The other one with the big mouth.
Not Maury Povich.
Morton Downey Jr.
Oh, Morton Downey Jr. That's his daughter. Is his daughter, right?
He has a daughter. And Morton Downey Jr. she obviously has a thing for like big mouth awful people, because she ended up with my ex, who's now her ex. But anyways, she was with him during the time period. Back then, these loudmouth guys, he couldn't get her attention or something. He pretended like he got beat up in a bathroom, and it was like a big scandal. And he got
wait, who did that?
Morton Downey Jr.
He pretended he got beat up in a bathroom because he wanted whose attention?
Lori's, his ex-girlfriend's.
Okay.
At the time. So it was like a thing to get her attention, and that's who my ex ended up with for a while. And his ex, the one before me, is a very, very, she's very big in the LA market still. So she's a #1, probably female in that whole market. And he dated her for a while. She was the morning show with Rick Dees at the time.
Ellen K, right? Is that
Ellen K?
Right.
Ellen
so you guys would know, if you know anything about 90s radio, and she's still on a ton of stuff. I mean, she was a huge DJ with Rick Dees, right? And that was your ex's ex-girlfriend. So when they were dating,
right.
They were both dating, on the radio.
They were both on Kiss FM at the time. He was in afternoons, she was in mornings, and he ended up calling her a very bad word on the air. and got fired. And this was like right when I started dating him. And I was like, what is happening? He went from like having the coolest job I've ever heard of in my life to, what are you going to do now? You know, it was jarring, really.
No, he got canceled. He was like one of the first people to get actually canceled.
They
like
booted him right out of there. What's crazy is he came back a couple years later. They tried it again. It's kind of like, hey, let's take back your ex-boyfriend, and it didn't work out, and they cut him again. So twice he got fired from Kiss FM.
And now he's on. Is he still on XM the 70s or no?
He's a Sirius satellite 70s in the morning, dude. Yeah.
So it's Magic Matt on the 70s. If you guys ever listen to the 70s station, which
I never listened on purpose, and I'm walking in my local flower shop like a couple years ago, and I'm like, God, I love this station. This music is great. And then all of a sudden, this boy comes on, voice, and I'm like, oh my God, he's here! He's here! It was the craziest feeling. Like that's his voice in this random place.
I'm telling you, this is LA. Like you just walking down the street. I remember I saw Danny Bonaducci stumbling on Sunset Boulevard at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday holding a pizza, like with like messed up area, for sure, like been out all night. And I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm in LA. And that was Danny Bonaducci.
This is it. I mean, everywhere you go, the gas station, wherever you go, you run into people. Yeah, just everywhere you go.
Wait, remember we were at, oh gosh, it was in Beverly Hills, that restaurant that I used to go to, the one I went on the date with Bruce Willis's brother, Robert. He took me on a date, that same place where you and I were when we saw, who did we see? It was like a rock star. Was that the one?
Roger Daltrey.
Oh yeah.
So, night before, I'm out at the House of Blues.
Right.
Foundation room, which is the top room, which is where you meet everybody.
VIP
room, of course. And standing there talking to Roger Daltrey for a good 45 minutes. I don't know who I was with, but they were obviously not with me. And I just kept thinking, this is the most incredible person. And I can't believe he's just standing there talking to me. He could have gone a million different places. And so just like when I was a flight attendant, I just sat there and talked to him. And I told him, I said, the first record I've ever heard in my whole life was in my cousin's basement. And it was The Who. And I said, you know, I don't know what we talked about, but we talked for a good amount of time. And I think I was at breakfast with you the next morning, and I'm chatting with you about this story.
And he's like sitting there, right?
He walked in the door and walked past me, and I looked up and I said, hi, and he goes, oh, hi, how are you? Good to see you. One long time no see. And I was like, oh, I have just died and gone to heaven. Roger Daltrey remembered me. Well, I mean, it was literally 8 hours prior. I mean, it would have been really embarrassing if he didn't remember me, but it was fun.
It's so funny because I don't get, you know, it's celebrity actors don't like ruffle me that much, but like a rock star, that's a whole
I didn't know, like I had a feeling that he did kind of want to like take things to a different place, and I did not know what to say. I did not know what to do in that situation. I was like, should I ask him? I mean, he was clearly interested in me. There was no reason for him to stand there and talk. It wasn't like a little chat. It was a long conversation.
But he didn't take it there, right? Like he didn't say, hey,
he didn't. And I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. But you throw yourself at them, I guess, like our sister Thea did. I mean, your sister Rachel did, right?
Rachel she went home with, and Huey Lewis. Remember Huey Lewis?
Yeah.
She definitely slept with Huey Lewis. Am I wrong?
No, she called me right after. Yeah. No. She 100%
our sister who is like on, not that we're not beautiful, but she is like literally like on another level of beauty.
Stunning, but not like right in the head, like totally beautiful, but just not quite.
Thank God she didn't live in LA for long, because she is ripe for the pickings, because she was not only stunningly gorgeous, but hugely insecure and also a little crazy, like mentally unstable. So it's the perfect person for a celebrity to pick up, like out of nowhere.
That's why I think Denzel went for her, not me, because he knew I wasn't taking any BS from him. But Rachel was like, no. So I don't know. I mean, I think you're right, but she definitely has been with a few.
She was with Huey Lewis, and her daughter came to visit me when she was 18 in LA and slept with Jared Leto, like right in front. Like we were having lunch at Moro's at Fred Siegel. And this Jared Leto was sitting there eating his lunch, and he gets up from his table and he walks over to us and he was like, hey, what's your fucking name? To her. And I was like, oh, I was like her aunt, like overprotective, like, hey. And she goes, said her name. And he goes, how old are you? Like that. And so she says 18, which by the way, she could have been lying. Like, did you ask to see an ID? No.
I
And
mean, that's right on the edge there, dude.
and he goes, can I have your number? I swear to you. And I was like, wait, what? Are
That's
you
all
gonna,
he has to say.
right? Are you gonna chat her up a little bit? So
Nope.
she immediately gives him her number, and he chatted for like 2 minutes. She said something like, "This is my aunt," and he was like, "Oh hey." And she put her hand like kind of like in his hair, and when he walked away, she had like grease all over her.
Oh, he's so dirty. He's so dirty.
And then we went to dinner that night, and he called at like 8 p.m. normal time. Was like, "Hey, whatever." And she goes, "I'm out to dinner with my aunt, but can you call me later? We'll hang out." And at 4 a.m., he called her phone, and I answered it because she was like sleeping. And I picked it up, and I heard his voice. He's like, "Did you just call me?" And I was like, "No, Jared. How could she call you? She doesn't have your number." Because I knew immediately it was. And she wakes up. She was like, "Is that Jared?" Like jumps up, grabs the phone, and he's like, "Come over." And she takes my car, drives to his house. And by the way, we were in Santa Monica. He lived in, I would assume, Hollywood Hills. I don't even remember. Drove to the Hollywood Hills at 4 a.m., had sex with him. He played her a song on his guitar, told her that he would call her, told her that he had a meeting and that she had to leave. Like Jared Leto had a meeting, and she left and was back. And I swear to you, Courtney, an hour. I swear, like, how can you even drive to the hills from Santa Monica, have sex, listen to a song, and drive back in an hour?
That is gross.
That's how fast it was. But I never forgot that. And she talks about it. It's not like it's a secret. And then she ended up dating for a lot of years on and off one of the Olsen brother, Trent Olsen, who's the Ashley.
Oh, I do remember something like that.
Well, they dated when she was visiting me. She came back out to live out there for a while, and they dated, and then they stayed in touch, and they got back together a few times. Like they are like on and off for years. And he's like a nice, normal kid.
I remember that. Yeah. Well, if he's nice and normal, then, maybe not for our niece. Just saying.
I don't know if he's into the 4 baby daddies that she has. The 4 babies, 4 different daddies, but they do still stay in touch, and they did get back together like in the last couple of years for like a while. I don't know if it lasted, but anyway.
Oh wow, yeah.
So another thing that we talked about on the last podcast that I thought we should revisit for a second was that you did hook up with Scott Wolf, who is now in the news a lot because he's been with his wife probably 23 years at this point. A long relationship that on the surface seems like she's very beautiful. They have 2 children. We've never seen any sort of evidence of anything going wrong between them. And then suddenly out of the blue, like 2 weeks ago, she starts posting really erratically on her Instagram. She's saying that she's away with her daughter on a trip, but something's wrong. She's making all these allusions to like something wrong in her marriage, which was odd. And then ends up getting the police called, and then goes live on Instagram, and you can hear the police arresting her because she's making some sort of disturbance, and she makes some comments about Scott and things not being right, and his brother maybe being being abuse involved. No one's sure. And then she gets put on a 5150 hold, and then they let her go, which by the way, to me says maybe she isn't. People think like she had like a psychotic break or something, but if she was, she'd still be in there. So that's weird. And now she's been kind of erratically posting. And now, of course, in the news just in the last couple of days, he has filed for a restraining order, and she's not allowed to see her kids. And then obviously filed and was granted custody of his kids. So I'm just wondering, knowing him for the brief time, your torrid,
just a little bit of time, but
I wonder what your opinion is. Like, what do you think about him character?
I'm going to pull it back a little bit and just say, in that general, just having gone through divorce with the person that I went through the divorce with was a fraction of the famous and money and all that stuff that she's going through. And they make it a living hell. And you feel like you're going crazy. And you feel like the world is just like topsy-turvy because this person that everyone thinks is so amazing is like this crazy person behind the scenes. So I can't imagine what she's going through, because divorce itself is just really, really brutal. And
especially when there's kids involved. I mean,
there's kids involved. And especially this part right here, right after the break part, everybody's so emotional. Things are just really terrible things happen. So I wish them the best. I thought he was a sweetheart. He just was kind of boring to me. And that's not funny. he was boring. So I was like, if I want to date an actor who, makes commercials, I can date one who's a little taller. And that was he was really short.
The short king.
Exactly. And I just didn't have the vision then for that short king.
So I wonder though, because I know your little interaction with him, there was a possibility that he was maybe double dating.
Oh, I'm sure he's been cheating on this girl this whole time.
Wonder. You think? I wonder.
Please. I would, if he didn't cheat on his wife, then he's literally the only one in that.
In the minority, right?
He's in the minority. It's just part of the game there. It's part of the whole kind of thing.
Right. I don't think people understand. A lot of it has to do, it's not even if you're a good or a bad guy, it's that women are throwing stuff at you constantly. And if there's even like a little crack in your beautiful 23-year marriage, which we all know, if you've been married or had a long relationship, there's cracks, there always are, then you can go out and get laid anytime you want to and get that sort of. So I don't know if you.
And all the intimacy you have on a set and all of the people that spend all this time together, it's just all ripe for this to happen. So you sign up knowing it. And I mean, if you're naive enough to think that your hot movie star husband isn't going to cheat when he's in Africa with so-and-so, I mean, you just got another thing coming. So I think everyone knows that they're going to get cheated on.
Right. So that could have been a factor. Who knows? And then definitely obviously there's two sides to this. Either it could be that there's something wrong with her and he's trying to protect his kids from her because she's like mental, and that is definitely on the table because she is not acting normally. But as you know, if you are being gaslit, you don't act normal.
No, you don't. So, and having been gaslit, it's just like you just don't know what is real and what's not. And every time you try to talk about it, people just look at you like, what?
Right.
No, that's not. And who are you going to tell? Like, so it could be going on for years that she's put up with some things and some kind of abusiveness on his part or cheating alone just to make you go crazy. But, I don't have any sympathy for someone who signs up for a relationship with someone who's in the spotlight like that.
You know what you're getting.
Asking for it. Part of the payoff is that you get him, but you're only going to get him part of the time. The rest of the world gets them the rest of the time.
Yeah, remember my roommate that I had, Charlene, who you've met? She was Simon Le Bon's mistress, and no one. I mean, like,
I couldn't believe it.
Oh no, this is a real thing. Like, he used to call her apartment, and this is back when
I was there.
One phone and an answering machine, and he would go, Charlene, it's Simon, I'm in town. And she would have his little hotel room and she would go there for a couple of days and come back. And he was apparently, I met him once. We went to see, they performed at Tower Records on Sunset, and she brought me and we went backstage and I met him. Couldn't have been nicer. Charlene, like, so adoring of her, so nice to me. Like, the part of like, there is a wife, a beautiful, devoted wife at home was like not even in question. The guy was clearly the nicest guy ever. So you had to just immediately think she knows about this, is accepted, because the guy was not scummy. I mean, he was not being duplicitous, scummy. He was leaving messages on our machine. This was in other words, it wasn't a big secret. Like, it was like, you're my girl in this port. And there were other girls.
Well, you know what I thought of is that I met Huey Lewis with Rachel. So I can confirm it happened. I met the whole band and they all acted like, yep, this is the girl of whatever. I think we were in San Diego at that time.
Right. So it's like expected, it's going to occur. And if you're married to them, then that's part of it. And as long as there's
athletes too, it's all the same. My girlfriend's flight attendant girls would have a NBA player in each, town. Like it's sad. It's sad. But that's why I moved back home to Ohio, married my high school sweetheart.
Right. So Courtney got out. She was like, screw this rat race.
We get out of here fast enough, please. Waited to my daughter from high school, and then I got out of there.
Right. Like, you dated Ken, your now husband, when you were in high school. You were the homecoming king.
17. I was the cardinal queen. We were both voted for the king and queen.
Oh, you won. He didn't win?
He didn't win. Our gay friend Greg Brennan won because he rigged the vote with his sister, who was like in a different grade. And then when we had the panel, so it was the school voted for you, the like most popular people. And then a panel was the ones who voted for whoever got it. And Greg Brennan, who was my friend who wanted to go to Georgetown, was very, very well spoken and really super sharp. And, you know, Ken's super cute.
Oh, of course. He's so nice.
Yes. Greg is funny as hell. So, and I think he watched the last one. He loved it. So,
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, it's, do you ever bring that up in an argument? Well, I won and you didn't.
Well, I'm going to dish the dirt right now. He made me tell people that we were homecoming king and queen, which is just a different name. We weren't technically that. And, you know, so he definitely likes to be called the homecoming king. Yeah, exactly.
I told you that before too. I thought that was what it was. That's hilarious.
It's called, there's homecoming and then there's cardinal queen, which is more of the prom queen. And it's a vote by the school, and then a panel of local people vote on who they think is the most representative of the school.
Oh gosh! And then we were in beauty pageants, right? You did.
I just did one, Miss Ohio, 1983, I think. Yep, and I was in represented Worthington.
Oh, you represented, so your sash was like Worthington?
Oh my gosh, it was so awful. I was the worst. But then years later, I ended up working with Nia Sanchez and Raquel Levis, and all kinds of really great women, coaching them on what not to do. And I just would talk about my horrible experience at the mall in the middle of nowhere of Ohio. And my roommate says, oh, you know what would look really good? Let's just make your eyes look really black. And she just painted black all around my eyes. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's how I was supposed to look. And I don't even know what I was doing.
We had like so much like curling iron back then. There was like lots of little like barrel curls. And I remember that it was not a great time for fashion. The 80s.
No, the look was not good. The look was bad. The vibe was bad.
But I remember I went to a Halloween party with Joanna Krupa and with Eric, our brother who dated one of the housewives. And I met a girl there and she was really big on, I think it was The Bachelor. And you had been her pageant coach. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're Courtney's sister. And she was like freaking out. I forget her name, but she was super pretty.
Sammy.
Yes.
Sammy. Right. One of my favorite girls. Yes, she was on The Bachelor. Yep.
Right. She was so pretty and she was just freaking out.
Pretty.
And even when I remember reaching out to Rachel, reaching out to Nia, and they both were like, especially Nia was like, Courtney is amazing. You're Courtney's sister.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking last time, it wasn't Beverly Hills that not rigged it, but gave her, was Hollywood. And so I have a picture of us and she has Miss Hollywood USA, which you're not supposed to do. We've gotten so much trouble, but I mean, she was just my girl. Like I just immediately knew she was going to be a star.
For who? For Rachel? You used Miss
for Nia. And Rachel,
for Nia.
For Nia. And then Raquel went and won like the regional one. So she got to wear that sash of the regional.
Eric our brother had like a whole thing where he's like, we can just make up regions. Like we just pick a region that no one's used. And you can be Miss, Calabasas or whatever.
Well, the rules for Miss USA are that you represent an area or a product or whatever. So really the title is not something you win. That's why you can't have a sash that says Miss Hollywood USA if you did not win the title of Hollywood.
Oh, so and Nia used that.
Nia used it in her pics. And so it said, and it was like a real sash, and it's not allowed. You're not supposed to do that. So now there eventually became a Miss Hollywood pageant. And then if you win it, then you can do that. But just me giving her that title was not enough really to wear a sash. But we just pretended like, oops, I didn't know, I didn't remember. And that's what she did. But I immediately knew that she was the real deal. So was Raquel. Mm-hmm.
So that is the headline that Nia Sanchez, who we all have been loving on the Valley, cheated in the pageant world and pretended she was Miss Hollywood when she wasn't. But honestly, that does speak to like what a hustler and what a like hardworking, like thinking outside the box person she is, which I love.
There's a picture of us with her Miss Hollywood sash when we got in trouble for it. And we were at a birthday party and Stevie Wonder sang happy birthday to the host, who was the jeweler for Miss California. So we got to go to a birthday party that Stevie Wonder sang at. That was pretty amazing.
You and Nia went with Stevie Wonder. Yeah. I mean, this is how Hollywood is. You put these things together. Would you ever think you were going to say in the same sentence, Nia Sanchez, my sister, and Stevie Wonder?
It's all it just is a miracle how it all came together. But I got invited to a lot of stuff because people knew that these were all my girlfriends. So they would say, bring as many friends as you can. And they all show up looking like Nia. I was really popular because my friends were hot.
No, Nia was and still is so stunning. And now she's got 4 kids because her and Danny had a baby, that twins or whatever, and now just had another one. So she's got 4 kids. They're on
I
the
bet
show.
she's an awesome mom. She's just amazing.
She seems great. They're on the show. They're getting, her husband's getting pummeled by the other like dark people on the cast, you know, people that are like not healthy and normal, toxic people are attacking them. And we as fans are all just rallying like team me and Danny, team me and Danny. We were telling them, the fans were telling them like, quit this show. Your marriage will end from these dumb shows. And you two are too perfect. We don't want you to do this.
Sharp. She's sharp. I'm telling you right now, he's got to be sharp if she's with him, because she could have the pick of the litter. She was at the top of the pyramid of all of the women that were available in that time period. That girl could turn around and throw and marry whoever she wanted. So you got to think of that guy as one of the best guys available. And so there's no doubt in my mind they will survive this show. She will thrive. I'm so proud of her, and I just have a good picker. I knew the ones that were going to be the best.
But it's funny. I have this follower who I really love, who actually came with me when I was at BravoCon last time to Phaedra's birthday party. So I brought him to this little birthday dinner with Phaedra and Teresa Giudice and Jen Aiden. So he's super nice, and we talk all the time. And he's been chatting with Danny like every day online. They've been sitting there chatting, and he's like, Danny, what's wrong with this cast? And Danny is just going off about these people on the cast, and I'm dying. I'm like, okay, Danny's got a little spice, like not on the show because he's like Nia's perfect husband, but in real life, Danny has spice. I've been watching it, so I think you're right. Like, I don't think even Nia would marry somebody without a backbone or that doesn't have spice.
No, I'm telling you right now, he's got to be an alpha male and have his stuff going on, because she wouldn't tolerate it. She definitely wouldn't marry it or have 4 kids with someone that wasn't like the best of the best. So I just know she picked really well.
We're vouching right now for Danny. There's no dark side Danny. He's not a secret alcoholic.
Yeah, no, Nia is one of the best people I've ever met. Just all around charismatic, purely beautiful. Nothing really that I could tell had been done on her. She just had that hair, like she didn't even need extensions. Like she just was so lovely. No, she didn't have extensions. As far as I know, she did not have extensions. And her hair was like, you know, like
perfect.
Really perfect.
Wow. I can't even imagine. Like, seriously, I can't even imagine looking like her and just walking through the world. And then with 4 kids.
I
like
know.
4 kids alone would just literally kill me.
But she's so sharp. She had a million things going on. She's a hustler. So for me, I just know she's getting it all done. Like I'm really excited that of all the people that I know, to see her be successful is really, really rewarding.
No, that was a good one for sure. I mean, Joanna Krupa is practically our sister-in-law.
Through that, yeah.
Nia was like your protege or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Rachel was definitely your protege for sure.
Definitely my protege. Like,
because you even showed me. I remember texts from her mom, like texting you and saying like Raquel at the time has ADHD and she's neurodivergent, and I remember even seeing that way back in the day. And then to have her come out and have this scandal and then have those issues, like, well, we knew it. You were in on the ground floor of the Rachel.
I really was. And I'm watching my favorite show, full disclosure, America's Got Talent. I love it. I know. And there's Tom Sandoval on there. And I'm like, he's going to get redemption. He's going to get redemption. And sure enough, it just took them all to be like, wasn't that clever? I'm like, he's singing lead in an 80s cover band. And I'm looking at my husband who sings lead in an 80s cover band. I'm like, you could have been on here. I go, no, your band couldn't be on here. His band shouldn't be on there either. It's just because of him. Here he is now. Oh, slate is clean. Yeah. They're whispering behind it. Oh, he's the one that had the affair. He had the affair. I'm like, oh my God. He's going to get
so funny. Yeah. My sister's husband has a cover band, and they actually were very big back when we were in high school and going on. Like, they're a big Columbus local band. They were for a long time. So it does remind me, now that you say it, of Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras. But that's funny because I went to see a show back in, I think it was October, because I had a book, my Vanderpump Rules trivia book, and I went to the show to like give him the book. And we hung out afterwards. He was so nice. And then they ended up coming to my book party, him and his girlfriend. They brought me flowers. And then they even like signed with my friend for her to be their publicist. And I have always been rooting for him because whatever. I mean, it's terrible what you did, but come on, the guy's human. and he was great on the Traitors, and I think he's due for the redemption.
Well, you know what? I think that what happened there was America definitely stood up and said, sure. But I was like, for that performance, I'm just looking at my husband going, okay, next year, can you?
You're going on America's Got Talent. Well, I went to his show, so in person, I have to say, he is pretty. He didn't have a great voice when I saw him. Like he did,
not a great voice.
He met, but I mean, on America's Got Talent, I don't know if they auto-tuned it or what, but he didn't hit any bad notes. It wasn't a great, but in person, he hits very many very bad notes, and you have to like. But it's kind of part, and the band's amazing, and you just are up there. He's so passionate, he's so into it. He's like literally like making love to the microphone, and he has so much charisma that the bad notes actually make it even more fun because we're all out there.
So everyone is redeeming him, and not Raquel, not Rachel. Like she's not like redeemed now either. Like, or she's still on the hot seat and he's off of it. I don't get.
Well, it doesn't help that she's suing them, and that does not help her case. She's suing Ariana and Tom. And that, to me, I think if she wasn't suing them, it would have gone a lot further to like people saying, okay, like this girl was young, impressionable, the lead of the show, went for her, like she got caught up, right? Like this is a star. She joins the show. He's been on it already for like 8 years. And here's this lead of the show that shows interest in her. And she's like impressionable. And as you know, like kind of a sweet, fragile girl. And you could make a big case for that. Like Tom just took advantage of her, like really like hit on her and she just couldn't resist. Or she hit, even if she hit on him, the point is, you can get this guy and he's the lead, and you can make that whole case, and I could make that case for her. And also the neurodivergency, like she doesn't pick up on social cues. So the whole like bonding with Ariana thing, like she wasn't really bonded with Ariana because hasn't had the ability to bond as naturally as a non-neurodivergent, all that. The problem is the lawsuit, and I actually even kind of understand her point with the lawsuit, which is that he recorded her without her knowing, and shared that with Ariana, and that is horrible. And I could see that her wanting to sue about that because it is a direct invasion of her privacy. It is like, it's horrible what they did. But for fans, general fans, thinking, okay, so you could be forgiven, but now you're suing them. You ripped apart this relationship. You came in between them. You deceived her, right to her face for 7 months while talking to her about her sex life with him and all these crazy things that the fans thought were unforgivable. And now you're suing. That's a problem for the fans, the lawsuit. In terms of Ariana, I mean, I don't think people care about her suing Tom, but they're like, wow,
she shouldn't be suing her, but I think suing him would be totally fine. Like,
right,
I don't see a problem
with
that.
She's suing Ariana because
her career will never, ever be the same. Like I said, he's already redeemed. They've already moved past it. Everybody said, oh, hey, that's fine. She hasn't gotten there. She is not redeemed yet. She is not.
But the only reason, partly the lawsuit, but also partly, I mean, he made a bunch of very smart career choices. I mean, Traitors is what did him. People love Traitors. He did amazing on that show. He was hilarious. That's what did it. If you ask me, that was when the tide turned, was Traitors, because we all love Traitors so much. So anyone who's on that show, immediately we love you. And then Tom was hilarious on that show, which Tom has a very many.
So he's charming, almost like Kato, like charming. You know what I mean?
I met him in person. He has very many charming characteristics, and those all showed on Traitors. And now, of course, we have America's Got Talent. Again, another chance to just see the real Tom Sandoval, who has the guts to get up there and sing when you can't sing very well.
You cannot sing
part of America.
He picks the hard song, the aha song, which is like the highest note ever. And I'm like, he hit it, but I was like, it's hurting me. I mean,
I just think it's smart. It's smart. And
cover band singing husband going, what? It was keeping you from doing this then.
All right. So that is how we will close out, is by saying we would love to see Courtney's husband on America's Got Talent. When his band gets on there, we'll revisit and talk about how he won America's Got Talent.
Oh my gosh. There's just absolutely no way on earth that band would get to the level of America's Got Talent if it wasn't for Mr. Scandival himself.
Well, you know, he has a relationship with his manager is dating Howie Mandel's daughter or something like that. So
it all makes it's.
I mean, I asked Adrian, his publicist, who's my friend, did you get him this gig? And she said, no, they got it inside track, which is the Howie Mandel connection. So fine. And it's been in the works for a long time. So fine. It was like a ploy on the network's part to get viewers because he was so hot at the time when they started negotiating this. And it just worked out. I mean, all the stars aligned, but you really have to still have the guts to get on there and do that and risk humiliating yourself, risk America still hating you. I mean, you got to give him credit. I don't think he has a lot of self-awareness, which really works in his favor.
I think that fame is fame is fame. And I think they don't care if they're like that and that feeds their soul. They don't really care how they got it.
Well, honestly, he says his band asked him to do it, and I believe it. His band, they're trying to ride his coattails of fame, which I get it, and they're amazing. Like
The
this
band is really
singer,
good. Yeah.
the girl, his backup singer in person is insane. She is so great. She has like the best hugest jazz voice, and the band, they've got all these instruments. I mean, they are like rocking. If it wasn't for that band, like the kid would be nowhere. That band,
Right.
and he says that's why he did it. And I mean, that's so nice of him. And that is kind of the kind of person he is. Like he does like to do things for other people, his acts of service. He's just trying to help Raquel. I don't know.
I don't know. I still think it's all icky.
I know. All right. Well, justice for cover bands. And thank you, Court, for coming on and talking to me. We'll definitely come back again because my followers were all messaging me after our last one saying, we love your sister. She's so great.
That's
and they all love your love story that you went back and married your high school sweetheart. I swear that is like
my Hallmark movie. But what's so crazy, it's a Hallmark movie, and then I'll have Hallmark on, and there'll be my ex-boyfriend Scott Wolf on the Hallmark movie, and I'll be like, I have my own Hallmark movie, but I did go out with that Hallmark movie guy. It's trippy.
You could have had the other Hallmark movie where you ended up with Scott after you like hooked up with him.
That's the Hallmark movie, is that the famous Hallmark movie actor gets divorced and comes and says, I never stopped thinking about you, Courtney.
Well, I'm a writer. We can fictionalize that.
We can make it work.
All right. Thanks, Court. Thanks so much for coming on. I'll talk to you later.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.